Episode 151 of the Super Parent Syndrome. This is your host, Dr. Nick Fanning. Today we're going to be talking about, embracing the suck, but realizing it's part of the process. Sit back and relax. Let's get started.
Parenting in the 21st century is ever evolving. And while you balance work, kids, and your sanity, it's easy to feel discouraged. Welcome to the Super Parent Syndrome with your host, Dr. Nick Fanning.
So my 9-month-old, Miss Gaia Joy Fanning, she's actually sick today. She has a double ear infection, and it's one of those things that during the day yesterday, I could actually just sense her getting sick, and I couldn't tell, hey, are you teething, or how are you uncomfortable? What's going on here? How is this ramping up? But over the course of the day, started with a little bit of discomfort. You could just tell something was off, and then, of course, by the evening, she had a full-blown fever. And that's not fun as an adult. It's not fun as a parent. We never want to have our kids suffer. At the same time, it is just an ear infection. And, research shows that most of them are going to be self-resolving and things are going to be just fine. The other part of it is that we have to also decide what we're going to do with fever, because here's the thing, fevers are actually good because they burn out infection and they allow the body to heal a little bit faster. And if we kind of numb that down a little bit with either medication or using something like a vinegar socks or something like that, it'll actually take the fever down, but it'll make the sickness last longer. Because here's the thing, how do you clean water? You boil it. Same thing with the body. You have to use a fever for good. Well, here's the thing. My wife freaks out a little bit. She has a little bit of anxiety, and especially even about the sickness of her kids. And so it comes down to negotiating that pathway with her of when to do what and when to do, what actually to do. And having that balance of when do we break a fever and when do we let it run? Because here's the thing. The thing is that when we look at children, the more sick they are in the first 2 years of life, the healthier they are going to be. Meaning, the more sick they are in the first 2 years of life, the less likely they are to have autoimmune issues or asthma or allergies. It all has to play with our types of our immune system, and there's a couple different types of immune system. But here's the thing: if we don't challenge it early and often, it gets bored and it searches things out, and that can be absolutely chaotic. The whole lesson in this is that we as humans, even adults or even children, are much the same way in other areas of our lives. We cannot grow to become stronger without first challenging ourselves or going through the suck, and in this case, the suck is for Gaia is getting sick. Okay. For others, it's lifting weights and having that soreness. That muscle is broken down, but it rebuilds stronger. We break a bone, it rebuilds stronger. We go through heartache and we come back more knowledgeable and stronger. It's just one of those things is that it's odd that human suffering in these short little bursts actually make us better overall. I can tell you this. Think about a teenager in their first love versus an adult who's had, a few relationships. It's just a totally different game because of experience and because of past heartache, and also realizing that, at this age it's a big deal, but later on it's not such a big deal, and that lessons learned and love lost is just part of the game. Same thing with financial worry, or dealing with raising a family. As a first-time parent versus a fourth-time parent, or in my case, a fifth-time parent. There's a lot of things that we stress early on, and then realizing the whole span of the game, it's really not that big of a deal. And it's all based on growth. It's all based on how have we been challenged. And are we purposely throwing challenges in our way to grow out of our comfort zone, or are we allowing things to happen that force us out of our comfort zone? And I can tell you this, folks, is that no matter what, there's life's challenges are going to come by. And it's going to knock you on your ass. And that's the whole point of it. But what if we took that time that we were spending any time and purposely challenged ourselves, purposely did things that knocked us on our butt so that we can be stronger next time. So when life's real challenges hit us, we're more prepared. We're stronger and we're better able to handle it. Because here's the thing, life, that's just part of life is suffering. Part of life is pain. Part of life is that hardship. But just like Miss Gaia has to go through earning her immune system as it's learning and expanding and growing, and she's at that age where she's crawling and she's getting in and everything, and that's the age where she's putting things in her mouth, everything she can possibly put into her mouth, and that's helping her immune system just learn like crazy. But that also means that she's also going to get sick a whole bunch. And I want her to. I don't want to mute that. I don't want to take that away from her. And that's part of the experience is unfortunately, yeah, she's uncomfortable. Unfortunately, yeah, she's sick. But it's just part of her growing into this amazing little girl that she's on her way to become. So folks, here's the thing as parents that we struggle with is that sometimes we have to watch our kids go through hardships. Sometimes we got to let life just knock them on their ass and let them learn for themselves. And when we don't, we throw out terms such as like helicopter parents, but the term that I hear most now is called a lawnmower parent, where they actually charge in front of their kids and taking care of all problems even before the kids come across it, versus hovering over them and watching them and helping them out at that point. We're not doing our kids any favor by becoming lawnmower parents or helicopter parents. We have to let them fall on their ass. We have to let them get hurt. And even in a book was called Sacred Parenting, they talk about we have to allow our kids to sin so that they can understand the challenges of sin later on, but also the triumph over it. It's just one of those things is that it's tough as a parent to see our kids suffer. And yeah, we got to make sure they stay safe. But at the same time, we also have to allow them to be challenged and do things and grow. And to grow into the beautiful, adult, mature versions of themselves that they can handle, and they're going to be that much more able to handle those things in life. And I hope you carry that forth in your own life right now, where you're not just waiting for things to happen to you, that you're actively pushing yourself for growth, because only growth happens outside your comfort zone. All growth is going to require hardship and challenge, and that's what you got to start with. So I know today's just seems just a little bit more of a bummer type of episode, but here's the thing. You can have a lot of fun with this. You can say, okay, where am I really struggling with? What can I do to tackle this on? Where do I want to be in 30 days, 90 days? And there is a process to all this, folks. Just like a personal trainer takes somebody from point A to point B, you can do this with nutrition. You can do this with health. That's easy, okay? Because there's hard numbers you work with. You scale, okay? Same thing with a bank account. You can hire a business manager or a financial advisor to take you from point A to point B. Where it gets really kind of tricky and tough is the relationships, love, sex, marriage, even your spiritual life. Because there's no hard numbers with those folks. But here's the thing, you got to have a system for everything. And if you do this and you put this all together, man, you're going to have some amazing results. You're going to start creating the life that you really, truly want. Because here's the thing, you got to start living like this is the only life you have, because it really is. Seriously, this is your only life. And you shouldn't be wasting it becoming the best possible Netflix, Netflix watcher in the world. You should be doing the best possible version of you in this world. And what's that going to take? I can tell you this, it's going to take getting out of that comfort zone and pushing yourself to a whole new level. So embrace the suck, realizing it is part of the process. So folks, if you need a little help with that, reach out to me, private message me. Also check out Pep Talks for Parents. There's a link in the show notes where you can get signed up for a newsletter that's delivered to your mailbox with all these shows, with all these little tips and tricks to get you started on your journey. So this is Dr. Nick Fanning, signing off.
Thanks for listening to another episode of The Super Parent Syndrome. Please be sure to visit peptalksforparents.com for more content and our free newsletter. And remember, you are not alone.